Okay, for starters, we're going to set up the ZBrush workspace so we can be more comfortable while working. I'm going to exit this home page by clicking the X, and after that, I'm just going to hit on ZBrush, and automatically the light box will appear. We don't need this right now, so we're going to go to the upper left corner where it says Lightbox, and we're going to click the button. Okay, so basically we just need to do two things. One is set up the resolution size and the range so we don't have this gradient. We're going to go to document above on the top shelf and click on the double button. This will resize the resolution so we have a better view when working. After that, we're going to go again into document and we're going to adjust the range slider to 0 so we have a neutral gray background and we don't strain our eyes. When we have this done, we are ready to start working. Okay, so today we are going to make Spongebob from the cartoon series Spongebob. For starters, we're going to need a reference, so I got one here. Let me just drag it in. Okay, so basically now we have a lot of views from this character, but we don't need much of them, so we just need the front and the side view for now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set it this reference in the middle, and I'm just going to zoom in on these two reference images, so the front and the side. If we need anything else, we're just going to adjust later. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the ZBrush panel, so on the ZBrush application, so we can start working. First of all, I'm going to go to the Simple Brush menu and click on the cube 3D icon, so we have a little cube. I'm going to take the cube, drag it on the viewport and hit edit and make Polymesh 3D as always. I'm also going to change the material to something like basic material gray, so we have a gray color on the cube. Okay, for starters, we're going to go to the side, and with the W key, I'm just gonna flatten the cube a bit so it's not that thick. For precise measurements, we can go to the reference and just measure it there. I'm just going to measure the yellow part. Don't move it with the gizmo, just move it with the camera for positioning. Okay, we're just going to make it similar to the reference, so as close as possible, like so. So just get it close as possible. The next step is adding some geometry to this cube, so for that reason we're going to go to the geometry tab on the side and click Dynamesh. So again, geometry and the Dynamesh button. This Dynamesh button is going to add some geometry. As you can see, if I click on the Dynamesh button with 128 resolution, I'm going to have 76,000 polygons. We might need a little bit less. Yes, we can see with Shift F or line fill that will need some less polygons. So I'm going to go to 80 resolution, and now you can see that it's a more reasonable geometry with the active points. Okay, so now I'm just going to zoom in a bit, so the square is a bit bigger than the head of SpongeBob, so we can easily carve out all of the lines on the sides and on the top of the character. For that, we're going to use the knife tool. So let's recap. The knife tool is activated with holding Control and then holding Shift as well. So at the same time, there it is. By default, it's going to be Select Rect. I had it previously on knife, so that's why my knife tool is put that by default. So you'll have it on Select Rect, but you'll click on that and go to Knife Curve Brush. So yeah, the knife curve, you're going to go to the left, click it, and now we have the knife curve. Okay, so I'm gonna toggle the see-through slider and start from the top. So I'm going to drag, Control Shift drag, hit Alt every time I come across a curve. So every time a curve happens, we just click Alt and the direction of the curve changes. We always go to the bottom, so we don't continue all in one circle, but we do all of the sides separately. So I'm just gonna do this right side again. So clicking Alt every time I need to make a curve. And again, don't do the whole thing at once. It's easier just to do it once like this to the bottom and later on do the other sides. I'm going to make the upper side right now. So the top side, like so. Okay, and also the left side. Now, because my shadow is pointing on opposite direction, I'm going to go from the bottom so I can change the direction of the shadow so I don't delete the parts I need. Okay, and also on the bottom. Okay, we have a certain shape for SpongeBob. We can dynamesh once, so the geometry evens out. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to make the shape of SpongeBob a little bit better. Basically, we can see that on the top side and the bottom side are different. So the bottom side is a little bit pinched and the top is much wider. We can make the shape even better, so we can make it more precise and more natural. If we go to the side view, we can see that we need to scale it a bit shorter, so we need the shape of the cube or the SpongeBob head to be a little bit more narrow, like so, and of course on the front. So you need to adjust the sizes every time. Okay, so now in order for us to bend it a bit, we're going to use things called deformers. By clicking the gizmo, so W on the keyboard, and going to this little gear icon on the left side, here we have a bunch of deformers. If I just turn off see-through, and on the gear icon we have deformers. For now we're going to use the first one, bend arc. Okay, if I click it, you can see there are a lot of arrows which represent axes. So we can control these axes or these arrows by dragging on them. So we can see what these do. The white arrow doesn't do anything for now, so it needs other arrows in order for it to work. The orange arrow, as you can see, if I drag it, it rotates the model. So this is the rotation axis for the deformer. We can rotate it from any angle, basically. Okay, and the green arrow does something interesting, or it bends the model a bit. So you can bend it as much as you want, but be careful to not deform it very much. You can bend it depending on which angle you're looking from, or in which direction you're pulling. So as you can see, the SpongeBob is a bit curved, but not that much. So I'm going to bend it just a bit, and using the other axis, so let's say the orange axis, but from another point, so the upper point, we can rotate it a bit and place it where it needs to be. And now, as you can see, the white axis works like a scale. So the white axis scales the model. So we can use the white axis to scale the model a bit. As you can see, these don't work because we don't have a bend in them. So we can use the deformers to make the form a bit nicer. And with that, we can accept this deform. So if we don't accept it, it stays unlocked. So we need to go to the gear icon, and while bend arc is activated here above, we have to click accept next to it. And now the deformation is locked, and it's basically we're left with this. The next deformer is Deformer. So the name of the deformer is literally Deformer. We can activate it again on the gear icon on the gizmo, and it's right below the bend arc. Okay, so this deformer looks a bit different and it works on a different way. Basically, we have 3 axes like before, but each color does a different thing. So basically, there is an off and on function on these. So basically, if it's short, it's off. If it's elongated, it's on. The colored one, so basically in this case the red one, it unlocks the symmetry on the model. So if it's elongated, the model has symmetry, the deformer has symmetry, and if it's short, it doesn't have symmetry. The white one determines the smoothness of the deform, so basically we're not going to use that one so much. And the orange one determines the parts or in how many parts the cage is split in. So basically more parts give you a more detailed deform, more controlled deform, let's say. Okay, we're going to have it in, let's say, 2 parts, split in 2 parts. I'm going to go to see-through and just set it here with the reference. Okay, how we select these little buttons is by clicking on them. So basically if I click on one and use the gizmo, we can move some of them. And if we want to deselect them, we can go to Control Alt and drag. So Control Alt and drag deselects the selected points and makes everything not selected. If we want to select more than one, let's say these in a row, we go Control Alt and drag on them. So now we can go and just move them a bit and position them where this according to the shape of the Spongebob. I'm going to Control Alt and drag on these at the front, and I'm just going to make them a bit go a bit forward and downwards. So basically like this. So we're going to just make them fit. Control Alt and drag for deselection and Control Alt and drag on a row of points so we can select them. I'm just going to refine the shape a bit so it fits the character better. Like so. And we have a curved head on the Spongebob. And the shape is basically done. Okay, so now if we are satisfied with the shape of the square, we're going to activate the gizmo again, and on the gear icon, like previously, we're just going to hit accept. So basically on the gear icon, deformer is active and we're going to hit accept. With that, the deformation is locked and we have a curved cube in the shape of Spongebob. Okay, now we're going to finish up the body of Spongebob, so the little cube under him. We're going to go to subtool and append, so we're gonna add a cube. Again, we append a subtool in the subtool menu. We put in a cube, we scale it a bit, and we position it according to the reference. As you can see, the body of Spongebob is a little bit smaller than the head. So if I position it like this, you can see the edges are sticking out, but that's okay. We can go from the side as well, like so, and position it with the side view as well. Like so, and just roughly scale it to preference. We can go to the reference and see how our shape is doing. Okay, and we can just rotate it a bit so it matches the reference a bit more closely. Okay. And now I'm going to go into the geometry menu and to the Dynamesh menu. So I'm going to do Dynamesh a couple of times on smaller resolution to see what fits. Okay, this is okay. I'm going to smooth it a bit, and now we have a Dynameshed cube, which is the body. I'm going to dynamesh the head as well on a bigger resolution, and I'm going to smooth it ever so slightly, so we have a little bit of a smooth edge, like so. Okay, now we're gonna continue on with the hands or the arms. I'm gonna append a little sphere for the sleeves. I'm gonna go and take it to the right side, scale it a bit and adjust it to where the reference is, like so. I'm gonna go to the reference and zoom in a bit so we can see the sleeve a bit better, like so. I'm gonna adjust it and I'm going to use my move tool to make the shape a little bit better. So like so. And make it like a bell-shaped. Okay, what we need to do next is cut off the bottom part and the left part because we need it to be straight. So with the knife curve on Control and Shift, we just cut off, as I said, the bottom part and the part to the side, like so. Okay, now we have a perfect sleeve. We need a sleeve on the other side as well, so I'm gonna go to the side view so we can reference the sleeve there. And as you can see, the sleeve is on the other side opposite the reference. I'm gonna go to the geometry menu for now, and I'm going to use a function called mirror and weld that mirrors the objects, so like this, and it puts an object on the other side, so it mirrors the objects. Okay, I'm going to adjust it a bit, and again I'm using symmetry for this, so both of them are adjusted like so. Okay, I'm gonna smooth it up a bit and dynamesh it. Next up are the arms, so I'm going to put the mesh against the reference again, and I'm going to put in place the arms on both sides. So subtool, append, and I'm going to append cylinders, or a cylinder in this case, to the side of the character, like so. I'm going to scale it up a bit so it's elongated, and I'm going to put it up to the side reference and see how it fits. Okay. Like so. And I'm just going to adjust it a bit so it doesn't stick so close to the body, and also the length so it doesn't go above the sleeve. Okay, next up we're going to make the arms or the palms, so I'm gonna append a sphere for this, get it to the side where the cylinder is, go to side view like so, and start moving it a bit so it takes the form of the palm. So with move brush I'm just gonna move it up a bit, and at the bottom where the fingers start we can use knife brush to cut it straight, so we need a straight line underneath. I'm gonna scale it a bit so it has a more flushed look, and from the front view I'm just gonna adjust it a bit so it matches the reference. Of course, dynamesh it, always dynamesh on low resolution, like so. And now we're going to make the fingers. I'm going to put in a sphere again and just scale it down and put it at the end of the palm, I'm going to scale this so it matches more with the fingers, and just adjust the finger to go into the palm. So now I'm going to duplicate it twice, so we need 3 spheres for this, because SpongeBob has 3 fingers and a thumb. So basically we're just going to arrange the 3 spheres along one behind another. Just adjusting the hand, and I'm going to take one more sphere and duplicate it so I can make a thumb. I'm going to put the thumb somewhere a bit higher. So I'm going to merge these 3 fingers. So merge down, like so. Let's merge all of them this time. And I'm going to have mask half of the fingers. With using the mask rectangle or the mask pen, like so. And I'm just going to control and click on the side so we can reverse the mask. Okay, I'm going to use the gizmo on W so I can pull down the fingers, like so. And I'm going to just mask a bit of the thumb so I can extract it or move it like the fingers, and like so, and make a thumb. Okay, like so. Okay, now we have already arms set in place with the palm, but we're going to have to split the fingers for now. So we're going to split and split 2 parts. That will split all the fingers in separate subtools, and now we're just going to take finger by finger and just rotate them a bit so we can the Dynamesh doesn't stick them together. With Alt and click, I can take instantly, by holding Alt and clicking on the finger, instantly the gizmo appears where I clicked, so we don't have to drag it, so that's a shortcut. So Alt and click on the finger and the gizmo appears. Like so. And I'll just adjust them, and we need to basically just move them apart a bit so they don't stick while Dynameshing. I'm going to Dynamesh the thumb. I'm going to test out with geometry Dynamesh geometry it's suitable, and I'm going to Dynamesh the fingers as well. Like so. Okay, now we're going to go to subtool and merge the whole palm together. So merge down, and always OK, because we don't have to see the warning every time. And I'm going to Dynamesh, but be careful on which resolution you Dynamesh, because we don't want the fingers to get stuck. So a higher resolution will result with a cleaner Dynamesh. I'm going to take the arm, merge it with the palm, and Dynamesh also, so we can have the whole arm ready, like so. I'm going to smooth it a bit and Dynamesh again, so the geometry evens out. Okay, now in Modify Topology, I'm going to mirror and weld, so we have both hands on either sides. Okay, so now we're going to make the legs of SpongeBob. We're basically going to need just 4 cylinders, 2 for the sleeves and 2 for the legs. So I'm going to take a cylinder first and put it where the pant leg is, like so. And I'm going to go to geometry, modify topology, and mirror and weld, so we have two on each side. Okay. We're going to go to the side view, we're going to adjust them there, so they are in the right position, like so. And now we can add a new cylinder, or we can just use these that we used for the pants. So we can duplicate them, bring them a bit down. We can activate symmetry so we can control them both. I'm going to scale them down, move them left and right, and just scale them in height so we have longer cylinders. Don't worry if they go into the pants or into the shoes as well, because they are not going to be in view, so they don't bother us. And with that we have our simple legs. Now I'm going to append a new sphere for the shoes. Basically I'm going to just bring it down, scale it a bit, like so. And with see-through and the side view, I'm just going to use move tool and adjust the shape of the shoe. Going to take it, put it here, and with move I can just shape it like so, the front of the shoe. And I can now go into dynamesh it a bit so it's lower geometry. I can smooth it up, and I can make a duplicate and subtool menu, and I can just push it back so we have the back of the shoe as well, like so. I can now move it around using move and mush the two shoes together. Okay, something like this. Just be careful there are no holes and you connect them together really well. I'm just adjusting the form. I'm gonna merge them together, dynamesh them with a higher resolution, smooth them up, and with knife tool I'm just gonna cut out the bottom so it's flat, like so. And with that we have the shoes of Spongebob. I'm gonna arrange them a bit better, like so. And with the one shoe done, we can go to modify topology and mirror and weld. So I have both shoes. Okay, we only have left the face and the holes on the face. The belt, the tie, and the shirt are going to be left for you to do in your homework. So basically, I'm just going to position the Spongebob here, like so. And I'm going to make the shoes a bit bigger, so because I see on the reference that they are a bit bigger. I'm gonna append the sphere and make the eyes first. They are somewhat easy to make, so we just take a sphere and we need to adjust it according to front view and side view. So the two views may not be the same, so we need to find the average for them. So basically, if it's a bit bigger on one side, it's totally fine, so we just find the average between the both views, like so. So I'm just gonna put it up a bit, flatten it some more and scale it, like so. and we just go back and forth and find the best size and shape for the eye. Like so. I think that's good, and I'm just going to bring it in a bit. When we have the first eye, we can go to geometry and modify topology and mirror and weld. We can mask one eye so we can move the other, like so, because I don't think the eyes are as symmetrical as they seem. So you can move them up and down a bit so they match the face perfectly. Okay, so we're gonna continue and with making the face. For starters, we're going to make the cheeks on both sides. We can append new spheres in append, but we can also take these spheres, duplicate them, and with symmetry we can just move them apart and use them like little cheeks. We can go to side view and we can move them in place so they match the reference, like so. And we can just move them around and make them as close to the reference as possible. Okay, now that we have them in place, we can use the brush BDS or DAM standard to make a bit of an incision in the cheeks so we can start the smile from there. So we can make a little cut here and also above so we can see the finish of the smile. Once that's done, we can move on to the body and sketch out the smile with also the BDS brush. We can set the Deformer slider to a bit more so we have more resolution, and we can start making the line for the smile. So like so. Okay, once we have the line for the smile, we can take the mask brush and mask the region above the smile. So we're going to set it to the side view and use the move brush to, with inverse, we can use the move brush to take that little part and move it in front, because he has on his upper mouth is a bit extruded outwards. We can smooth it, remove the mask, and now we can just, with clay buildup, make it a little bit more linear, smooth it out, dynamesh it, and with BDS we can just crease the line of the mouth using Alt, and we can finish the mouth also with BDS. After we finish the whole mouth, we can take the little cheeks and combine them with the whole face. We can set them one atop of another, and we can go merge down, dynamesh, and just smooth it out a bit and polish it with DAM standard, like so. Okay, even though we seemingly made the smile, I'm just gonna take a few minutes and adjust it better with the reference. I'm gonna do that with the move brush, so I'm going to match the model as close as I can to the reference and use the move brush so I can just make the smile closer to the one on the reference. So using see-through and a move brush, I'm just going to adjust it as close as I can. As you can notice, I'm not using symmetry, but that's okay because we can make the character more authentic by not using symmetry. Okay, just going to take my time and adjust the smile. Okay, after we have the smile and the eyes, we're gonna focus on the chin. So we're gonna take BDS with Alt, basically the inverse function, like so, and mark up the chin. Okay, so we do this because we can see that he doesn't have a bottom lip, so we need to make some border to which we distinguish where his mouth ends. So basically I'm just making them standard strokes with Alt or with basic strokes, and also using clay buildup to bump the height of the chin a little bit more. I'm dynameshing every time I'm doing something to the chin, so the geometry evens out, and I'm smoothing as well. Okay, I'm making with BDS and making some lines like so. Okay, now we're going to make the teeth. Basically we're getting some cubes, placing them in front of the character, so below the mouth. And using the reference, we're going to shape them up a bit. So like so, bring them in. And I'm just going to go to geometry and dynamesh them because they are not that sharp, like so. And I'm gonna mirror and weld them like so. I'm gonna refine the chin a little bit more. The only thing left for us to do is make the little holes or the circles on the mesh. So we are going to get rid of this reference for now, and I'm gonna put it to the side and roughly see where are those circles located, and I'm gonna mask those spots. So something like this, and just looking at the reference, I'm gonna roughly map out those circles. Okay, so now I'm just gonna inverse the mask, activate the gizmo, and I'm gonna deflate these holes. Basically how it works, I'm holding control, and with the middle axis I'm just inflating or deflating if I go into the negative. So something like this. And I'm just gonna dynamesh it once, and we have the holes with just one simple mask and deflate. Okay, so the last thing we need to do here is make the nose or add the nose. So basically we're going to activate again see-through, and as we can see, the nose is a simple sphere. So we're just gonna go to subtool menu, go to append and make a sphere. This sphere we're gonna scale down, go to the side and just drag it up and scale it down. Again, like any other part of the SpongeBob, we're just gonna go to geometry and dynamesh it. I'm gonna scale it down a bit more, and with the move brush, so B and V, I'm just gonna shape it to the proportions of the nose. So something like this. I'm gonna smooth it down and dynamesh it like this, and I'm going to set it to front view so we can adjust it here as well. So basically it's just a little scale. I'm gonna activate symmetry for this and just scale it like the front reference, go to the side again, and again, like the eyes, we're gonna make it an average from both sides, so from the front and from the side. And now we have a finished nose. And with that we have our SpongeBob in ZBrush done and ready to go.